Robert Hugh Benson AFSC KGCHS was an English Anglican priest who in 1903 was received into the Roman Catholic Church, in which he was ordained priest in 1904. He wrote the notable novel Lord of the World. Life. Benson was the youngest son of Edward White Benson and his wife, Mary, and the younger brother of Edward Frederick Benson and A. C. Benson. Benson was educated at Eton College and then studied classics and theology at Trinity College, Cambridge, from 1890 to 1893. In 1895, Benson was ordained a priest in the Church of England by his father, who was the then Archbishop of Canterbury. After his father died suddenly in 1896, Benson was sent on a trip to the Middle East to recover his own health. While there he began to question the status of the Church of England and to consider the claims of the Roman Catholic Church. His own piety began to tend toward the High Church tradition, and he started exploring religious life in various Anglican communities, eventually obtaining permission to join the Community of the Resurrection. Benson made his profession as a member of the community in 1901, at which time he had no thoughts of leaving the Church of England. As he continued his studies and began writing, however, he became more and more uneasy with his own doctrinal position, and, on the 11th of September 1903, he was received into the Catholic Church. He was awarded the dignitary of honor of the Order of the Holy Sepulchre. Benson was ordained as a Roman Catholic priest in 1904 and sent to Cambridge. He continued his writing career along with his ministry as a priest. Like both his brothers Edward Frederick Benson and Arthur Christopher Benson, Robert wrote many ghost and horror stories, collected in The Light Invisible and A Mirror of Shalott. His novel, Lord of the World, is generally regarded as one of the first modern dystopias. As a young man, Benson recalled, he had rejected the idea of marriage as quite inconceivable. Benson was appointed a supernumerary private chamberlain to the Pope in 1911 and, consequently, styled as Monsignor. Death and legacy. Benson died in 1914 in Salford, where he had been preaching a mission. He was 42. At his request, he was buried in the orchard of Hare Street House, his house in the Hertfordshire village of Hare Street. A chapel, dedicated to St. Hugh, was built over the site. Benson bequeathed the house to the Catholic Church as a county retreat for the Archbishop of Westminster. The Roman Catholic Church in the nearby town of Buntingford, which he helped finance, is dedicated to St. Richard of Chichester, but also known as the Benson Memorial Church. Gallery. Works. Science fiction. A Mirror of Shalott, Benziger Brothers, 1907. Lord of the World, Dodd, Mead and Amp Company, 1908. The Dawn of All, B. Hudder, 1911. Historical fiction. By what authority? Isbister, 1904. Come Rack, Come Rope, Dodd, Mead and Amp Co., 1913. Odds Fish, Dodd, Mead and Amp Co., 1914. The King's Achievement, Burns Oates and Amp, Washbourne, LRD, 1905. The Queen's Tragedy, Sir Isaac Pitman and Amp Sons Limited, 1907. The History of Richard Raynal, Solitary, Sir Isaac Pitman and Amp Sons Limited, 1912. Initiation, Dodd, Mead and Amp Co., 1914. Contemporary fiction. The Light Invisible, Sir Isaac Pitman and Sons Limited, 1906. The Sentimentalists, Sir Isaac Pitman and Sons Limited, 1906. The Conventionalists, Hutchinson and Amp Co., 1908. The Necromancers, Hutchinson and Amp Co., 1909. The Winnowing, B. Hudder, 1910. None Other Gods, B. Hudder, 1911. The Coward, B. Herder, 1912. An Average Man. Mead and Amp Company, 1913. Loneliness. Mead and Amp Co., 1915. Children's books Alphabet of Saints, with Reginald Balfour and Charles Ritchie, illustrated by L. D. Symington. Oates and Amp. Washbourne, 1905. A Child's Rule of Life, illustrated by Gabriel Pippert, digitized by Richard Mamona. Old Testament Rhymes, illustrated by Gabriel Pippert. Devotional Works Vexilla Regis, a book of devotions and intercessions, Longmans, Green and Amp Co., 1915. A Book of the Love of Jesus, a collection of ancient English devotions in prose and verse, Isaac Pitman and Amp Sons, 1915. The Friendship of Christ, Longmans, Green and Amp Co., 1914. Apologetic Works The Religion of the Plain Man, Burns and Amp, eds. 1906. Papers of a Pariah, Longmans, Green and Amp Co., 1907. Christ in the Church, a volume of religious essays, Longmans, Green and Amp Co., 1911. Confessions of a Convert, Longmans, Green and Amp Co., 1913. Paradoxes of Catholicism, Longmans, Green and Amp Co., 1913. Lourdes the Manresa Press, 1914. Spiritual Letters of Monsignor Hugh Benson, to one of his converts, Longmans, Green and Amp Co., 1915. A Book of Essays, Catholic Truth Society, 1916. Sermon Notes, First Series, Anglican, Second Series, Catholic, Longmans, Green and Amp Co., 1917. Non-Catholic Denominations, Longmans, Green and Amp Co., 1921. Plays The Cost of a Crown, A Story of Dew and Amp, Durham, a sacred drama in 3 acts, Longmans, Green and Amp Co., 1910. A mystery play in honor of the Nativity of our Lord, Longmans, Green and Co., 1908. The Maid of Orleans, a drama of the life of Joan of Arc, Longmans, Green and Amp Co., 1911. The Upper Room, a drama of Christ's Passion, Longmans, Green and Amp Co., 1914. Selected articles. The Conversion of England. The American Ecclesiastical Review, Volume 34, 1906. The State of Religion in England. The Catholic World, Volume LXXXIV, October 1906, March 1907, A Modern Theory of Human Personality. The Dublin Review, Volume CXLI, 1907. The Dissolution of the Religious Houses. In Renaissance and Reformation, 1908. Letters of Queen Victoria, 1837 to 1861. The Dublin Review, Volume CXLII, January, April 1908. Christian Science. The Dublin Review, Volume CXLII, number 286, October 1908. Spiritualism. The Dublin Review, Volume CXLV, No. 290 to 291, July, October 1909. A Catholic Colony. The Dublin Review, Volume CXLVI, January, April 1910. Catholicism and the Future. The Atlantic Monthly, Volume CVI, 1910. Phantasms of the Dead. The Dublin Review, Volume CL, No. 300 to 301, January, April 1912. Cosmopolitanism and Catholicism. The North American Review, September 1912. Cardinal Gasquet. The Dublin Review, Volume CLV, July, October 1914. Other The Holy Blissful Martyr St. Thomas of Canterbury. Benziger Brothers, 1910. The Life of St. Teresa, Herbert and Amp, Daniel, 1912. Poems, Burns and Amp, eds. 1915. Maxims from the Writings of M.G.R. Benson, by the compiler of Thoughts from Augustine Birrell, R and Amp. T. Washburn Limited, 1915.